In this video, I'm using 3 years of footage to show you how I harvest my cherries, how I plant my cherry trees, how I care for my cherry trees, and more. G'day everybody, Daz here from my Aussie Garden and Kitchen, Garden Edition. I'm out here at sunset picking these cherries off this tree because I'm getting a lot of pressure from earwigs, ants, and sparrows. Now I did have the tree fully netted and closed tight, but obviously ants and earwigs can get in through the net, no problem. And the sparrows are very keen to land on the net. They can't get tangled because it's a small diameter hole net. But the problem is their beaks can go through the hole and they're pecking at the cherries and damaging a lot of the fruit. So it's time to get in and get them off and start to enjoy them more than the pests. I've got 3 varieties of cherry trees here. Of course, I can't remember them right now looking at the camera, but hopefully I'll put them on the screen somewhere for you to see what I've got. And the reason I've got the 3 types of cherries is because I want a growing season that's a bit longer than having them all ripen at once and just being overloaded with cherries. So the plan was 3 types of cherries, and I did look at when they ripen. So theoretically, I should be able to have them start sort of now and then go over a couple of months. One thing I like to do with my cherry trees is to bring in spacer boards. So what I do is I get some old scrap wood. This is an old pallet plank, and I'll cut a V shape in one end and a V shape down the other end. And then I can come in and wedge it between the branches and force the branches wide. And that way I can use this to train the tree to grow that trunk into that space there and fill that space. And then this one here, I can train this branch here to grow in this direction and fill the space in here behind me. So these cherries are going to be going into a pie, and I'm also looking at freezing a lot of them. I love to pit my cherries and freeze them and then eat them frozen. The consistency of frozen cherries is like a sorbet. It is fantastic. And now with the weather warming up here, nothing better than going out into the freezer as I'm looking for a cherry and grabbing some cherries out of the freezer that are pitted and just munching on those frozen. Oh, it is magnificent. At the start of the fruiting season, when the fruit was starting to form, I gave them a feed of an all-purpose fertilizer, and that pretty much did it. That's all it took. Just mainly keeping up the water to these, and they did really well. And that's pretty much how I go every season. I've got my plans for these cherries, but I've got so many of them. What do you think I could be doing as well? Is there anything that you think that I should be making with these cherries, or should I just eat them all like this? Let me know in the comments down below, because you never know, there's probably something I haven't thought of and I'd love to know. This is my best year yet. They've been in the ground for a couple of years now, these trees, and as you can see, they're really starting to pay off. You can grow cherry trees from seed and cuttings, but that'll take a long time. So in my case, I bought bare-rooted plants, and I used a nursery that has a really good reputation and I've bought from before. So I knew that I was going to get quality when I got my plants here in my yard. Now, whether you have a potted cherry tree or bare-rooted cherry trees like I have, it's quite simple to plant them in the ground. It's very similar to other rules that you follow when planting other fruit trees. And you want a soil that's going to be a nice free draining soil. Mine's very sandy, so it's great for that. And then what you can do, like me, is add some organic matter into that soil to give it a bit of body. It's ideal to make the hole at least twice the size of the root ball. And then it's good to get the roots down into the hole and spread them out, so that way they're going to spread out as they start to grow. Don't have them all bunched up in a tight ball like this. Get them spreading out so they can go in all the different directions. And it's really important when you backfill that you backfill soil in amongst the roots. You get those roots covered in the soil. It's not good having air pockets in with the roots. Now, in a lot of cases, the trees can be grafted. So if they are grafted, it's important to have that graft point above the soil, a good couple of inches above the soil. I'll put a little bit of fertilizer on the soil, not too much. You really don't want to burn those roots. Once you've got that beautiful tree backfilled into the ground, you want to get some mulch on top of that. The mulch is going to suppress any weeds and grass, and it's also going to help keep moisture into the ground and stop it from evaporating and drying out quickly. Then once that's done, I just give it a good watering in and keep the water up to it for a few months, just so it can establish itself, get those roots to spread out and that tree to grow nicely. Because I've had chickens free ranging here in the orchard, I set up these little wire cages around the bases of the trees, and that was to stop them from digging the mulch from the ground and also from digging at the roots. You don't want them tampering with the roots, especially when the trees are really young. Another basic maintenance tip is that you'll get things like this coming up, little shoots like this from the roots. You need to remove those. These suckers are no good. We don't need those, and we just pull them out and get rid of them. When it comes to pruning, I think I'll leave that to a dedicated video, but the very basics are that I'll wait till summer after my fruit has all been picked, and I'll cut the tops off the trees because I don't want really tall trees. I don't want to be climbing on ladders. And also the branches, I'll cut the ends off the branches again to manage their length. And there's going to be branches that are going to come off the main ones I want to keep that will grow in towards the middle of the tree. I don't want those. I want an open inside of the tree, like a vase shape in this case. So they'll all get trimmed as well. And that's the very basics to how I prune my trees here in my yard. It's really important when picking cherries that you don't go breaking these little fruit buds here, because that's where your fruit's going to be producing obviously this year and next year. So be very careful when removing the cherries, and ideally, if you can, maybe use a pair of scissors and just snip them along up here somewhere. I prefer to pinch and pull these off, and they don't damage the section here, but it's up to you what you decide to do. I like to use large exclusion bags on my cherries too, so if I don't have netting available, I can use a large exclusion bag like this, which I normally put on my peaches and plums and apples, for instance, and I can get it over the end of the branch and pull it down and cover most of the cherries in most cases, and that protects from the birds as well. If I was going to give one tip on picking cherries, it would be to go back later and look again, because no matter how many times you think you've gone up and down a branch and checked, you always miss one or two. And trust me, I've just come back 10 minutes later and I've found about 20 cherries that were there in plain sight, but I swear were not there earlier. I really recommend that you get your own cherry tree or cherry trees going, because you cannot beat reaching over like this and picking fresh cherries off the tree. And oh, look at that. Oh, that is so good. You just have to get your own cherry tree or cherry trees. Thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind, check out this playlist of all my other gardening videos on my channel, and hopefully I'll see you on the next cooking or gardening video. Bye for now. Yum.